This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're in Sheffield here, Bramall Lane. With me, I've got heavyweight David Howe. How are you, mate?
I'm alright, thanks, Cougars.
All good. Back to winning ways.
Yeah, nice to get a few rounds under my belt and get another win. And especially in front of an home crowd, it's always nice as well.
How did you assess your performance and your opponent?
Opponent, a tough, European. Just a bit of a plodder, keep coming forward. Only like kind of one level, but not making excuses or anything like that. I suppose I didn't come out of second gear. Did enough to comfortably win the fight, but it was little bit of a challenge because I didn't know if I'm going to be boxing tonight. Having had like a really bad chest infection, so I was like kind of cautious and not stepping up too many levels just because I didn't want to blow out. Because I feel as though I've been smoking 20 Benson every day for the past month.
It's been obviously a little bit of a difficult point in your career.
I'm at the end of my career, and I've had some, a few losses by guys that really I shouldn't be losing to. So I'm fully aware of where I kind of am with the sport, and what I can really achieve. And being realistic, I suppose I'm a 4 to 6 round fighter. Really. Once I step up, like I did the last fight, a 10 rounder.
It's Nathan Gorman.
Yeah, Nathan Gorman. Tough, strong, young kid who's hungry, and I thought I might be able to compete, but I've been knocked out a couple of times now in the first round, and it wasn't to be on that night. I wish Nathan all the best, and hope he does win.
When you talk about you being realistic about what you can achieve in your boxing career, is that something that has taken those defeats for you to realise that, or did you always know what was realistic for you?
Even still now, I want to be able to compete, but being realistic, being at 36, 37 in August, I'm coming to the end of my career really. I know that heavyweights can go on a lot longer and stuff, but I always got into boxing with big dreams and aspirations like everybody does, and having a few defeats, you've got to kind of be realistic and assess the situation. I do know that you've got to you can't play at boxing. You've got to dedicate your life and train every day, and it is a way of life really. And if you're fortunate enough, only a very few percentage of people can get through and be successful. And if you are fortunate enough to have the backing and the sponsorship and the support from outsiders, it gives you an even better chance to climb up the rankings and to become a good pro. I'm kind of at that level now where I've got to work 9 to 5, having a wife and a mortgage and everything. I've got to pay bills, so me being a full-time professional boxer, it's kind of a bit of a sideline really. I still keep involved in the sport because I love it. I love the training aspect to it. I'm not really bothered about coming to shows and kind of celebrating your victories by going out partying and all that kind of stuff. I just like being in the spit and soda gyms and training and keeping generally fit and stuff like that.
I mean, it's quite let's say a harsh reality, but I'm not specifically talking about you, David, but there's a lot of boxers, and more so boxers in the country, that are kind of in this position of, do they work? Are they fighting enough? Are they earning enough to sort of keep them going? People are sometimes obviously blessed with sponsorships. If they're not, then what do? They want to sort of carry on. They want to train every day. But how do you do that if you haven't got something in the bank every month?
Well, that's what happened to me. That's the position I were in a couple of years ago. Training down at the Ingle gym. I loved every minute of training down there. I just wish, I suppose, when I was a little bit younger, I'd have gone there first. Camaraderie in the gym, great atmosphere. But having so many fights that kind of fell through at the last minute when you're training full time. And I did have a bit of a sponsor from DBL Logistics, and they were absolutely fantastic, as well as Kit Locker. And but you only get like a certain budget, and when you kind of work that out, when you've not boxed for 4 or 5 months, it's pennies, a day that you're living on. And I just couldn't afford to sustain that kind of lifestyle of getting down to the gym and training 2 and 3 times a day, all the diesel costs, all the supplement costs, you know, all the like kind of food that it took to fuel me to be able to train and be fit and healthy. I just couldn't sustain it. And like I said, I had a go, and I've got no regrets in that aspect of things. But it doesn't work, you know. It doesn't work for everybody. And the small percentage that do break through and make it, you know, good luck to them. Really do mean that, because it's such a hard sport, and it's definitely one, like I said earlier, that you don't play. You've got to live. And unfortunately for me, it didn't kind of work out. But that don't mean that I'm hoping that, you know, I can still I still train, I still try and keep myself fit as I can. And who knows, one of these next up and coming prospects, if there's a potential title fight that, you know, I'm kind of ready for, and keep ticking and keep picking these little wins up and trying to, you know, get my match fitness by boxing away, whether I win, lose or draw. You know, I'm going out there every time to try and win, and I hope that, you know, I get another crack at Central area. I'd love to have another crack at, you know, English, and I've still got dreams, but I'm a little bit more realistic now with things.
When the boxing fans or the public, they kind of focus more on the highlights of the sport when they see, 90,000 people at Wembley, people at
show
Anthony
reels.
Joshua, exactly, of the very top in the sport. But is what you're talking about actually what
It's
UK boxing is realistically?
as I see it, it's,
Yeah.
you know, the driving force, you know, that
Yeah.
kind of keeps this whole show going. It's guys like myself, you know, the guy that I've just boxed, you know, guys like him and myself, you know, that'll take a fight, you know, at a minute's notice and stuff like that. But, you know, we're keeping this, as I see it, you know, we're keeping this kind of show on the road, because if it wasn't for guys like us boxing on little small hole shows, you know, there wouldn't be the big Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko, you know, at Wembley Stadium, and, you know, all them kind of big fights. You know, we're a kind of lifeblood of it, I think, anyway.
Yeah, no, I think you've got a good point, because it's a very small percentage of fighters that are professional that even win a British title.
Yeah.
And I say even win a British title. Most people don't win that British title, and that's kind of the first thing that. I mean, I'm sure you've got aspirations that you probably wanted to win a British title.
Yeah, of course. You know, I come from an old trainer, Howard Rainer, you know, and all his guys that he trained. You know, he had some great champions. So at a young age, I had a good, I had a good foundation being with Howard, because he was a great trainer, and I enjoyed being around all these fighters: Terry Dunstan, Cornelius Carr, Paul Scrappi and Ryan I met on a few occasions, but training in Sheffield with Howard when he were up here with Terry, with Clinton, you know, with them guys, I used to watch them in awe, and, you know, I learned a hell of a lot. And it's through training with Howard and having a good schooling that it's kind of, you know, given me a great platform and stepping stone to, you know, have a little bit of a good career when I first started out. I know it's not kind of not played out that way this last couple of years, but, you know, it's just one of them things. And now that I've come to train with Ryan, you know, he's from the Ingle gym, so it's a familiar, like, kind of training methods and everything, and it's a good atmospheric gym. And you know, I'm enjoying just going down and getting stuck in with the guys and getting involved with everybody, and it's good at the minute. I'm enjoying, you know, where I am, but at the same time, you know, I've got like kind of good work, training, lifestyle balance where I'm gonna work. I've got my, you know, kind of 9 to 5 job where my bills are getting paid, and, you know, keeping on boxing and picking up these little wins, keeping my hand in and keeping training. You know, hopefully I might get a phone call one day. Hopefully it's not too long, and I might get another crack at a title, which I'm hoping. So we'll see where that goes.
How many fights have you had now in your career?
That was my 16th one, I believe.
16.
So 16, 17. So I suppose I'm still a young puppy where I'm not kind of punch drunk or anything like that. I'd like to think that I've got all my faculties.
Why were you such a late starter?
I come from a bit of I come from a sporting background, but I played volleyball, the girly ball. It's a lot. I used to get canned when I was at school. But yeah, I played volleyball for England and Great Britain when I was younger. And I just got involved in boxing because I fell in love with the characters that were down at a local gym that opened up. And it was a gym that Howard Rainer was involved with old man Dennis Hobson, Clinton Woods, Dennis Jr. And it just was a bit of an education as a young lad. Never thought in a million years that I'd kind of get involved in boxing. But I just used to like going down and watching guys like Terry Dunstan and Clinton Woods work out and train. And I suppose one day I thought, I'll have a go and see if I can, be as good as what they could be. So.
I mean, you're saying you're sort of towards the end of your career. If you was to stop boxing today, how would you sort of look back at that time? Your 16 fights, would you be ultimately be pleased, or?
I think, yeah, of course, anybody that gets in ring and has a go, whether you're an amateur, a white collar boxer, if you're somebody that's just coming into a gym and you get in and do a little bit of body sparring, I think it takes a certain kind of individual, to have a go. And I've always been one that I'm not a spectator. I like taking part. I don't really watch a lot of sport. I don't go to a lot of boxing shows at all. I don't watch a lot of fights. I watch the occasional big fight. Like anybody. I'd like to see Kell Brook and Amir Khan fight. Things like that excite me. But I like taking part, so I like the day in, day out training aspect of things, and that side of things that the spectators see on the night, whether it's a Friday or Saturday night when they pay the money. I'm kind of not bothered about that aspect, but obviously it's what you've got to do. But yeah, I think if I were to retire today, I'd look back and I think, well, I can hold my head high because I've had a go. At least I've chucked me out into the ring, and I've had a go and see what I can do. And I'd be pleased, but I'd still be a little bit disappointed that I didn't really make a mark and really achieve. I think I've probably fell short, and I don't want to have any regrets. So that's why I suppose I'm still keeping at it, because I don't want to look back when I'm an old man and think, if I'd have only done this or if I'd have only done that.
Okay, Mr. Howe, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. Congratulations on your win tonight.
Thank you.
And
it's been nice to meet you. And
have we not met before?
No, I've never done anything like this before. This is the first time that I've ever kind of been on or been interviewed after a fight. So this is a new experience for me as well. So this has been one that I'll.
There's something about you. Actually, you're quite.
I'll always.
You're quite engaging.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I found what you were saying quite fascinating, to be honest.
Well, thanks. It's been nice meeting you anyway.
Yeah, David, listen, absolute pleasure. And yeah, listen, roll on to the next one. See how far you can get.
Well, thank you very much.
God bless you. Thank you very much, mate.